Ocean grabbing today is becoming a problem as serious as land grabbing. And it is increasingly important, ocean grabbing, because we have an increase in the consumption of fish in all regions, but particularly in rich countries. And we have fish stocks that are depleted and that are mostly in the waters of the global south, in countries which do not have the technologies to exploit these resources themselves.
Because the small-scale fisherman relies on fish for his daily livelihood and upkeep of his children. This is it is from this income that they send their children to school.
More than thousands of people are working in the sea. They all go inside the sea to catch fish.
We have more and more fishing agreements in which the nations such as China, sometimes others, have a right to fish on certain waters, in certain waters, without there being any quota limitation, without there being any limitation as to the volume of fish they can capture. And this, per definition, is extremely difficult, therefore, to assess. They may be completely overfishing and exploiting much beyond what was anticipated, the fish stocks in the region, without this benefiting the local economy in any way.
2 years ago at the World Ocean Summit, which is the economist-sponsored event in Singapore, our president at the time, Robert Zellick, announced the launch of the Global Partnership for Oceans, which is basically a convening platform that has now grown to over 140 partners, includes private sector, public sector, government agencies, local communities, and civil society, where together we're changing the conversation, moving away from silos and thinking about how do we work together to synergize and to really bring change to ocean health.
I believe there's a repository of knowledge that exists.
Our experience where we've invested around the world is to invest in rights-based fisheries management, so that you actually give an allocation to the fishermen, and that incentivizes them to be better stewards of the fishery. If you've allocated it amongst 24 fishermen, if one person wants to leave, he can trade it with someone else who wants to come in. So it works just like any other property right, really. There's going to be economic growth and value in the fishery as it recovers and is managed more sustainably. And given that value, we think investors will come in with blue bonds and other mechanisms to support the rebuilding of fisheries.
So my expectation is that private sector entities, big fisher companies that are coming into the coastal areas of Africa, for instance, where we have small fishermen, that in fact they need to partner with these small fishermen, but also keep in mind that they have to be socially responsible.
Do you have any examples of where that has happened in a good way?
No, I have no examples.
No, you have hopes?
Well, of course. I mean, from what I'm hearing out of this conference, we expect that this is what is going to be happening.
When I was a boy, there were 300 boats down in the harbor and 3 people working in the bank. But today, it was in the 90s, there are 3 boats in the harbor and 300 people in the bank.
Der er blevet færre fartøjer, de er blevet større, og de er blevet mere effektive, de er blevet dyrefinansieret. Det er sket. Det er sådan set et resultat af denne her regulering, og det har i virkeligheden været et ønsket eller et tilsigtet resultat, der er kommet ud af det.
Vi startede med et kvotasystem på grund af, at vi skulle beskytte fiskestammene og det her og det her. Men så pludselig så bliver det en marknadsvara, og der gik det hele galt.
It's very important that the international community moves towards a more sustainable management of fishing resources. The Global Partnership on Oceans is one such initiative. It is based, however, on the idea of fishing rights that are tradable quotas and that essentially will reward those with the deepest pockets. Those who have the ability to buy the quotas will have the right to fish. And this is justified by a reasoning according to which the market is an efficient way to distribute the resources, the idea being that those who pay the highest price for the quotas are those who will be the most efficient users of the resources. The problem is that the poor fishers and the poorest countries will have fewer chances of emerging as winners from this competition, which is basically allocating resources depending on the purchasing power of the respective parties. So we have to be very careful about commodifying fish resources and leaving it basically to a market mechanism to allocate whom gets the right to fish.
How is the investment of the large-scale private sector supporting the small-scale? That's an interesting question. I can't answer that one.